You know, in our digital world, we hear it all the time. Lock down your data, protect your data, hide it. But what if the real power of owning your data has nothing to do with hiding it? Today, we're diving into a totally different answer to the question, what does it really mean to own your data?
All right, so let's just jump right in. This whole idea kicks off with a pretty bold statement, one that kind of goes against every instinct we have. That urge to lock our valuable information away in some digital fortress, to keep it safe from everyone else.
Right, so if true ownership isn't about building these massive walls around our data, then what on earth is it? This question really sets us up for a huge shift in how we think about this, moving from this defensive crouch to a much more powerful offensive stance.
Okay, so to really get the new idea, we've got to break down the old one first. Let's call it the data fortress myth. This idea that data is only valuable if you keep it totally isolated, under lock and key. And wow, when you put them side by side, the difference is just night and day, right? The old way of thinking, on the left, it's all about hiding data, locking it in a vault, which makes it totally static. The new idea is the complete opposite. It's about enabling safe sharing, letting your data get out there and connect and actually create value.
All right, so let's build on that. If we're tearing down the fortress, what are we building in its place? What does this new kind of ownership actually look like when you put it into practice?
And here it is. This is the heart of the new model. True data ownership is all about the ability to do three things: share, prove, and profit from your data. And that last word is absolutely crucial: safely. So it's not about just sitting on it, it's about having active control and capability.
So you can basically break this down into three simple, active steps. First, you need the ability to share your data so it can actually be useful. Second, you have to be able to prove that it's yours, that it's authentic. Think of it like a digital signature. And third, you need to be able to profit from the value it creates. So imagine a digital artist, for example. They could license their art to an AI, prove they own every single piece, and then get paid every time that AI uses their unique style. It's a cycle: share, prove, and profit.
See, when you put those three things together, share, prove, profit, you stop being just a security guard for your data. You become an investor. You're finally putting your most valuable digital asset to work for you.
Okay, I know what you're probably thinking right now. How is any of this even possible, right? How can you share data and still keep it totally safe? Well, this is where the technology behind it all comes into play. The tech that makes this all happen is sometimes called a hybrid architecture. But look, don't worry about the jargon. We're not going to get lost in the weeds here. What really matters isn't the name, but what it actually does.
So what this kind of technology does is pretty amazing. It lets the knowledge from your data, not the raw data itself, move around networks completely encrypted and secure. It makes sure that value stays protected even when it's being used. And here's the really cool part, the magic trick, if you will. It separates the valuable insight from the raw, sensitive data itself.
Okay, so all of this brings us to the final and honestly the most important idea in this whole explainer. This is the concept that really changes the game and flips how we think about our digital stuff.
And this slide just lays it out so clearly. On one side, you have the container. That's just the file, the hard drive, the database. It's the what. But on the other side, you have the contribution. That's the insight, the knowledge, the unique creation that comes from the data. That's the why it matters. Think of it this way. The container is a cookbook. The contribution is the amazing, one-of-a-kind meal you cook from a recipe inside it.
And that's the punchline right there. That's the whole takeaway. True ownership isn't about clinging to the cookbook. It's about owning the unique value, that delicious meal, that specific contribution that only you could create from it.
So let's leave you with this final thought. Your data, it's not just some liability you have to hide away in a fortress. It's your potential. It's your unique contribution waiting to happen. So the real question isn't how do I protect it? It's what will you build with it?